Hey guys, it's Wednesday. You know what that means. It's time for another episode of Against the Wall. So hey, you ready for another verse about wall? Here it is. So today we're looking in Numbers 22, and we're going to look at a couple verses with the word wall in it a few times, and then we'll get to the story behind it. It's a pretty cool story, so I hope you go back and read it. But here it is. In Numbers chapter 22, it says, Then the angel of the Lord stood in a narrow path between the vineyards, with a wall on this side and a wall on that side. And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she pushed against herself against the wall and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall, so he struck her. Now, this is a pretty cool passage here. It's a pretty cool story. And if you go back and read it, it's a story of Balaam and the donkey and the angel. So Balaam was being requested to do something and to go with these guys. And really what it was is this king wanted Balaam to curse the children of Israel. And if he cursed them, he knew it would happen. And God's like, no, you're not going. So anyway, here they are. They're on this trip. And God's like, you didn't listen to me. And so he sends an angel. And this angel is standing in this path. You can imagine, here's this vineyard, there's this wall, and it's real tight through there. And here's Balaam, he's just going down through there. And there's this angel. And the angel's ready to kill Balaam. And the angel's there for Balaam to go, okay, I should probably stop now. But the problem is, Balaam isn't really seeing the angel. And he's just on his way. And the donkey of all the people, of all the creatures, the donkey that Balaam's riding on sees the angel. And the angel's standing there and he's like, there's a sword. And the donkey's like, yeah, I ain't dying today. So it starts to try to like sidestep a little bit, get out of the way. It's trying to move, and it kind of, there's a wall here, it's got nowhere to go. And so, Balaam's like, come on, let's go. And the donkey, like 3 times the donkey does this. And he finally runs into the wall, crushes Balaam's foot against the wall, and Balaam's like, pow, 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 just beating on this donkey. And if you go on and look in the story, there's actually a funny exchange between Balaam and the donkey. And it goes like this. If you look down, it says, And Balaam said to the donkey, Because you have abused me, I wish there was a sword in my hand, for I would now kill you. So the donkey said to Balaam, Am I not your donkey on which you have ridden ever since I became yours to this day? Was I ever disposed to do this to you? And he said, No. Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way with the sword drawn in his hand, and he bowed his head, and he fell flat on his face. And the angel of the Lord said to him, Why have you struck your donkey these 3 times? Behold, I have come out to stand against you, because your way is perverse before me. The donkey saw me and turned aside from me these 3 times. If she had not turned aside from me, I surely would have killed you by now and let her live. And then it goes on the story in the exchange. But basically, the donkey was the one that's like, I ain't going any farther. A lot of times in our lives, we got a wall on this side, we got a wall on this side, and we're just kind of stuck in the middle. And so we think, well, there's only one path, and it's straight ahead. And God's saying, no. I said, no. And we're just bebopping along. And it's funny in this story. Well, it's kind of funny things. A couple funny things here. First of all, the fact that the donkey says, hey, haven't I been your donkey since you got me? Haven't I been good to you? Have I ever done this to you? And instead of Balaam going, the donkey's talking to me, he's like, no. And he's like, and then the angel appears and it's like, look, listen, the donkey was smart enough to figure out I was there. You weren't. If that donkey would have kept coming forward, I'd have killed you and let the donkey live. What does that say? Sometimes God has a way of trying to get our attention. And sometimes he puts some real donkeys out there to try to get our attention. And you know, it's important that we don't get so caught up in what we're doing that we don't see the dangers ahead of us. We don't miss the things that God's trying to put in our way. Sometimes we get so singularly focused that we think, well, there's a wall here I can't get past. There's a wall here I can't get past. The only way has got to be straight ahead. When God said, I didn't even tell you to go in the first place. So don't get yourself pinned in thinking that there's only one way. Don't get yourself caught up in, hey, when the pressure's here and you're being told to do it, that's the only option there is. You know, the world's going to say, hey, this is what I say you do, and you better do it. God says, this is what I want you to do, and I guarantee you, you better do that, because you don't want to find yourself on his bad side. God has a way of putting people in our life to warn us. Sometimes we think, man, why did that happen? But maybe God was using a situation to save us from something worse. So it's important that we listen to those in our lives. We heed the direction that the Spirit's sending us, and we don't always think there's only one option left. There is only one option left, and that's a God's option. But first, we got to be obedient to be doing what he's told us to do in the first place. Don't get pinned in between the walls thinking there's only one way left, unless that way is God's way. So there you go. There's your wall. I hope you enjoyed this today, and until next time, we'll see you next week.